Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
When the Magi had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Rise, take the child and his mother, flee to Egypt, and stay there until I tell you. Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him." Joseph rose and took the child and his mother by night and departed for Egypt. He stayed there until the death of Herod, that what the Lord had said through the prophet might be fulfilled. "Out of Egypt I have called my son." When Herod realized that he had been deceived by the Magi, he became furious. He ordered the massacre of all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity, 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had ascertained from the Magi. Then was fulfilled what had been said through Jeremiah the prophet. A voice was heard in Ramah, sobbing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children, and she would not be consoled, since they were no more. The Gospel of the Lord. It may seem odd that we celebrate this horribly tragic commemoration during these joyful days of Christmas, but the antiphon reminds us of the joy and glory of the innocent martyrdom of these young children. They experience salvation instantaneously. And we recognize, too, the various attempts in human history to frustrate the plans of God. It happens almost every day. The slaughter of the innocents is, if you recall back in the Old Testament, it's almost a reversal. Joseph takes Mary and the baby Jesus to Egypt. But recall, in Egypt at the time of Pharaoh had ordered the massacre of all Jewish boys because the chosen people were getting too numerous. And Moses was among those who was rescued he was placed in a basket, and he was discovered by Pharaoh's own daughter and ended up being the leader of the people. So hence, that attempt to frustrate God's plans failed, and Herod's attempt to frustrate God's plans failed. And we might want to think in our own lives, how often do I try to frustrate the plans of God? It won't work. And really what we need to do is recognize our place in salvation history and fulfill that role as best as we can. And we recognize also the value of human life. And we pray that in any way where there is innocent suffering, whether it be through the crime of abortion or hunger or war or any kind of murderous and violent activity that happens throughout the world, that to uphold the value of human life is the only way to combat those kinds of atrocities and to continue to pray for a peaceful world. May we then be people, rather than trying to frustrate the plans of God, by God's grace, cooperate with them and open ourselves up, like Joseph and Mary did, to God's plan and let it unfold with grace and joy in our lives.